Hey guys, it's Tempire, and over the last few days I have put a decent amount of time into researching the talents and the gear I'm going to go for in Phase 2. So today I'm going to kind of give you guys an in-depth rundown of what I figured out. So let's get right into it. So to begin, you're just going to put 5 out of 5 points in the Blackout. This is an insane talent. It gives a chance to stun the target when you apply your shadow spells. For example, when you apply Shadow Word Pain, there's a chance it will proc Blackout. However, only the application of Shadow Word Pain applies Blackout and not the actual dot ticks themselves. And Blackout also procs off of Mind Blast, Shadow Guard, Touch of Weakness, Mind Flay. So it's just a really, really insane talent. And having this proc in a fight can pretty much win you a duel almost instantly. Next, I'm going to go for 2 out of 2 improved Shadow Word Pain. It gives you 2 extra ticks on your Shadow Word Pain. This is just insane talent. You should always take this in PvP, in PvE, pretty much whatever you're doing, you should always take this. Next, I'm going to go for 3 out of 5 in Shadow Focus. The PvP hit cap is only 3%, so you could technically get away with only 2 points. However, if you take away the 1 point from Shadow Focus, you need 1 extra point to get to the next row. And Spirit Tap and the Shadow Affinity are both pretty much worthless in PvP, so you might as well just go 3 out of 5 because it helps you against in PvE and it helps you against people who have Shadow Res as well. Next, you're going to get Mind Flay. Pretty self-explanatory. One of your signature abilities does a lot of damage. Improved Psychic Scream. The reason why you want this is so you can take the silence talent in the next row below. And then now you need 2 more points to get the next row, so I pretty much just take 2 out of 5 Improved Mind Blast. Next, you want 3 out of 3 Shadow Reach. It increases your range of your shadow spells by 20%. And while on paper, this doesn't seem like much, I'm going to kind of put it in perspective for you guys on why this is actually a pretty big deal. So, Shadow Word Pain and Mind Blast, by default, have a 30-yard range. However, with that talent, Shadow Reach, it goes up to 36 yards. And to put in perspective of other spells, Fear, for example, from Warlocks, has a 20-yard range, where I believe they can also make it a 24-yard range with their talents. Having the 6 extra yards makes it a lot easier to outrange someone on the Fear and end up having the Fear not go off in the first place. I'm kind of the same with Polymorph, but Polymorph is a 30-yard range instead of 20, so it's a little bit harder, but the same thing still applies. Now, the big one is Hunters. And because Hunters, if we don't get the opener on Hunters, they are really, really hard for us to deal with because they just Viper Sting and kite us. For example, Viper Sting has a 35-yard range. And if we don't take Shadow Reach, that means they outrange us by 5 yards. Concussive Shot also is a 35-yard range. And if I go to my WoW here, as you can see, Shadow Word Pain is a 36-yard range. Now, with that being said, it makes it a lot easier for us to deal with Hunters. While it is kind of hard still if they get the opener on us, it definitely gives us a lot more room to kind of counterplay them. Next, you want to go for 5 out of 5 Shadow Weaving. It's pretty self-explanatory. It just gives us a bunch of damage and one of our signature abilities for raiding and stuff like that. Silence, super, super good ability. There's a lot of things like combos you could do with Silence, like going for a full Fear into a blanket silence right afterwards. Against most casters, you're probably able to kill them in that time window if they don't have any defensives. Next, Vampiric Embrace. I'm going to put 2 points into Improved Vampiric Embrace for the 10% extra healing. Some people think this is kind of troll and some people don't recommend this, but I'm going to get into why I think it's actually pretty good here in just a second. To finish off the Shadow Tree, you want to go for 5 out of 5 Darkness and then 1 in Shadow form, obviously. So here, let's take a look at Improved VE. So right now, in my PvE gear, my Shadow Word Pain is taking for 296 without Shadow Weaving stacks. And while these numbers aren't going to be exact in your gear or your PvP gear, they're generally going to be the same. So Vampiric Embrace, we pull up a notepad here. So Vampiric Embrace, so no Improved VE, is 20%. So we're going to do 296 times 0.2, which is going to give us, let's see, 296 times 0.2, 59. And there are 8 ticks in Shadow Word Pain. So 59 times 2, or times 8, it is 472 health per Shadow Word Pain. Now, if we look at Improved VE, it is 30%, 2% from VE and 10% from the talent. This is going to give us, it's going to give us 88, so 89 health per tick. 89 times 8 is going to give us 712 HP per Shadow Word Pain. And if you do subtract the difference, it is going to give us, one second, 472, so 240 health. Now this doesn't seem like a lot, however, this is just your Shadow Word Pain. This does not count Mind Flay, Shadow Guard, Mind Blast, any of that. So just 240 HP from Shadow Word Pain, I think, is more than enough to justify the talent taking the talents, because improved Power Word Shield with the 15 or 3 points and the 15% is, I believe, around 142 or 192 health. I'm gonna do the math on that here in a second, and that's 3 points versus 2. So I think you should always take improved Vampiric Embrace. Now let's go over to the discipline tree over here. Unbreakable Will. It increases your chance to resist stun, fear, and silence effects by an additional 15%. This is insane. You have a base 5% chance to resist these effects, just baseline, so this makes it 20%. Insane talent. You should always take it, even in PvE as well. Next, I'm going to put 3 out of 3 points into improved Power Word Shield, 2 out of 2 points into Martyrdom. Martyrdom just makes it so when you get crit, you you suffer no casting pushback, and you have a chance of resisting interrupt effects like pummel and kick by 20%. So let's do the math on improved Power Word Shield. So improved Power Word Shield at max rank is going to give you, let's see, times 0.15. 0.15 is going to give you 141 health. So Power Word Shield, 942 times 0.15 is 141. And now this doesn't seem like much just looking at it. It adds up very quickly. So each cast, let's say you cast it 3 times in a fight, that is going to be an extra 423 health you're going to get. And the more you use Power Word Shield, the more effective the talent points are, and obviously the less you use it, the less effective it is. But I think a general rule of thumb is it's pretty good to take Power Word Shield because you're going to be casting it multiple times in a fight. Next is improved Power Word Fortitude. Only 1 point. I think I remember Ooze saying that having 2 points is only around 150 health for the 2 points. And this will probably get dispelled by other priests and stuff pretty consistently. So I think just 1 point is pretty fun. 3 out of 3 meditation, really good. Allows 50% of your mana regeneration to continue while casting. Inner focus, super nice cooldown to have. And then now we get to the last 3 points, and while these don't really matter where you put them too much, at first I was going to put them into mental agility, which with 3 points reduces the chance, or reduces the mana cost of your instant cast spells by 6%. And while on paper, like I said, that does sound very good, I'm going to kind of put it into perspective for you guys why that isn't actually as good as it seems. So Power Word Shield is a 500 mana ability. 500 mana. And 6% of 500 is 30. So you have 30, you save 30 mana per cast. 30 mana per cast. And let's say you use it 3 times in a fight. That is 90 mana per fight. So we have other abilities as well that this benefits. So we have Shadow Word Pain, which is 470 mana. And 470, or 6% of 470 is going to be 28.2. So we'll just say 28. 28 mana per cast. And let's say you use it twice in a fight. 28 times 2 is 56. 56 mana per fight. And you also have Dispel, which is 248 mana per cast. 248 mana. And that is, I think, 15. Let me do the math real quick. 0.06. Yeah, 14.8. 248 times 0.06 is 15 mana per cast. And let's just say as a general rule of thumb, you're going to cast it 4 times, depending on the class you fight. Times 4 is going to be 60 mana per fight. Now you have Shadow Guard as well, which is 250 mana. Which is also going to be 60 mana per fight, assuming you cast it 4-ish times. And then you have also your Fear, which is 210 mana. 210 mana. And 6% of 210 is going to be 13. 13 mana per cast. And that is 26 mana per fight, assuming you're only casting it 2 times. Now you have some other abilities like Hex of Weakness if you're a troll, but that doesn't really cast, and you're usually casting rank 1. Vampiric Embrace, which is only 40 mana to begin with. Inner Fire if you need to reapply it, which is I think 310. We're not really going to get into all of that because it's very marginal. Now, so if you add all these up, it is going to be 56 plus 60 plus 60 plus 26. 56 plus 60 plus 60 plus 26, which is going to be... Oh, I forgot the Powered Shield as well, which is plus 90. 202 plus 90. So 292 mana per fight. And this is not even enough for 1 Powered Shield, 1 Mind Blast, 1 Max Rank Shadow or Pain. This is only enough for 1 Fear, 1 Dispel, and 1 Mind Flay. And in general, I think putting these 3 points into improved Inner Fire is going to be more beneficial in the long run, because Inner Fire at max rank gives 395 armor, and 30% of 395 is going to be 416. So improved Inner Fire gives you... I think I did the math wrong there. Let's see. Okay, yeah. So 1800 armor. Now, if you decide to not take improved Vampiric Embrace, which I highly recommend you do, and you go 5 out of 5 into mental agility, I think this could make a much better case for it. However, if you're only putting 3 points into it, I don't recommend you go for it. Like I said, these last 3 points don't matter too much where you put them. You can go 2 out of 2 mana burn, 2 out of 2 fort. I'm just going to go for improved Inner Fire as a general build. But yeah, like I've said, it doesn't really matter too much. So yeah, these are my general talents for Phase 2. Probably would be rating in this as well. Now, let's get into the gear. So, this is, if you're a fresh 60 Shadow Priest, and you need some gear and you don't have much time to raid, I recommend probably something that looks along the lines of this. As a Shadow Priest, you want a lot of stamina and a lot of intellect. You want stam because you're really, really good at outlasting people. If you have a lot of HP along with your Powered Shield and your Leech from your Vampiric Embrace, and you have Shadow or Pain on them, you're going to be able to outlast almost every class. And since you don't have any major cooldowns, the longer the fight goes, generally the higher chance you have to win. And because of that, you want a lot of intellect, so you can sustain your mana. So yeah, a lot of this is pretty easy to get. Most of this you can buy off the auction house. Shout out to Drew, by the way, for suggesting the Robe of Everlasting Night and the Sublime Wristguards, which are both from Dire Maul. And the Royal Tribunal Cloak I saw that looks pretty good. I think it's better than any other option you can get for your pre-raid. Gives a lot of ink, got a lot of stam. The Vectus Amulet gives a lot of spell power. You need a quest item for this. Necropile from Scalo gives a bunch of stam, bunch of int. The Robe of Everlasting Night gives a good amount of int, good amount of stam, gives some this needed spell power. And for the Trindle Haven Staff, I was going to look for an option to go a one-hander and an offhand. However, I couldn't find anything like an offhand that I thought was like a suitable replacement for this. So this gives a lot of int, a lot of stamina, some spell power. So I think this is probably your best bet. Storm Ranger quest item. You could go for skulls if you want. However, in duels, Storm Ranger is better because it's faster. So that means you can kill totems quicker and it gives some stamina int. Fellcloth gloves you can buy for like 100-ish, like 120 gold off the auction house. Get some nice stam. Banthok sash from Arena. It's your pre-raid anyway, so it's relatively easy to get. You'll probably have it. Necropile leggings and boots. There's not much stuff you can get better than this. Maybe you can make a case for Malachai's and Sky Shroud. However, I think having the stam and the int on these is probably better because you're gonna be farming a lot of Scalo anyway for your shoulders and your amulet. Blood of the Martyr, super good pre-raid ring. Quest item, Underworld Band. I bought mine a long time ago for like 150-ish gold. There's some rings that are like probably a little bit better, like Cyclopean Band might be better. However, I already have this, so that's what I'm just going to recommend it for. Briarwood Reed. Like I said, your trinkets are mostly just situational. However, Briarwood Reed is a nice trinket to always have. Now let's move on to the gear I'm going to go for. So you have the tier 1 helmet, like I said in the last video, is pretty bad for healing priests. You should be able to just get this pretty easily if it drops. Vectis amulet from Vectis, you need a quest item to do them. Necropile, full Necropile because the set bonuses are really good. 15 all res and the spell power. Royal Tribunal cloak. I was going to try to get the Onyxia cape. However, I just don't think it's realistic because I think you have 2 more Onyxia resets before phase 2 comes out. Anathema. I don't have my eye yet, but my raid leader said I'm going to get the next one or the one after that, and I'm hoping 2 eyes drop in a row or I just win the next one. Necropile cuffs. Since you're going for the 5-set Necropile, you just want the spell power. Storm Ranger. Like I said before, the speed is super good on it. I might go for skulls if I can get it instead. It kind of just depends where I'm at when phase 2 comes out. Gloves of Hypnotic Flame. Nobody really uses this. Fire mages might use it in AQ, but I mean that's a long time away. So you should be able to just roll against this against people who want it for PvP. Sash should be easy to get if it drops. You're only rolling against warlocks for it. Necropile leggings and boots, like I said, for the 5-piece. Blood of the Martyr, a good quest ring, and Underworld Band, like I said before. I already have one, so I'm just going to use it. Now, this is your theoretical BIS for phase 2 before you get PvP gear. Tier 1 helm, Choker of the Fire Lord. This might be kind of hard to get because all casters want it. It's super good if you can get it. A lot of spell power. Mental Prophecy Tier 1 shoulders. This is, I'm pretty sure, relatively good for healing priests, so you might have a rough time getting it, but if you can get your hands on it, it's definitely better than Necropile. Saffron Drink from Onyxia. Like I said, if it drops and you can get it, definitely use it. It's super good, but it's going to be relatively hard to get. Alana's Embrace. This is your BIS chest, however, it's super low drop rate, like less than 0.2% from some guy in Scalo. So if you have it, definitely use it, but if you don't have it, it's whatever. Necropile cuffs. I'm not sure if there's... Maybe you can use Sublime wristguards if you have them and don't have these, but I think these might be a little bit better, but they're really close. Anathema. Super good weapon. It's your BIS weapon. A lot of int, a lot of stamps, some shadow res for mirror matchups and playing against warlocks. However, if you do have the Blade of Eternal Darkness from Princess and Maradon, you can use that maybe if you have like a medicine pouch or some other offhand that you want to use and kind of do like a little weapon swap or something like that. Storm Ranger, like I said before. Hypnotic Flame, self-explanatory like I said before. Sash, same thing. Necropile leggings. I'm not sure if these are better than Sky Shroud because you do lose 13 int or 13 stam and 10 int, but you gain 34 spell power. So I think these are better, but I'm not too sure. I'll have to do some more testing on that when I actually get them. Malachai's Foot Wraps, they're definitely better than Necropile because Necropile only gives you 15 stam, 10 int, so you lose 6 stam and 1 int, but you gain 16 spell damage. So I think that is pretty good to have. Band of Sulphurous, super good ring, a lot of int, a lot of mana, 13 stam. And I think 1 point of int is 15 mana, so this gives you a lot of mana. Ring of Spell Power, tons of damage. and then Talisman of Ephemeral Power, Toep. It's your BIS until like Nax, I believe, and it's just so much on-demand burst for you, and it's on like a 1.5-minute cooldown, so it's just really, really nice if you can get your hands on it. So yeah, I think that pretty much covers it, guys, for my in-depth rundown of the talents I'm going to go for in Phase 2. If you guys have any questions, don't be afraid to ask in the comments, and like and subscribe to the video, and you can follow me on Twitter at /TempIreTV and Twitch on Tempire. I'm going to start streaming relatively soon. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Peace.